Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a Shawn Kemp build, so make sure he's a power forward and we'll move on to the body settings. Now on basketballreference.com, Shawn Kemp's listed at 6'10", so make sure he's 6'10" because this will ensure that we have all the contact dunks that you can get at this height. In terms of the weight, he was a bit of a rake, like really skinny when he played, but he was very strong as well and powerful. He just had that sort of skinny looking frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to push weight down to 219 pounds, and the wingspan's going to go to the max, which is 7'8". Body shape for Shawn Kemp, I just chose compact because, like I said, he had those long, very lean body type, but he's still very strong. Now, in terms of the attributes, Shawn Kemp as a player was definitely more of a slasher. He did have a nice mid-range jump shot, which he definitely developed more later in his years as he lost his athleticism. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the shooting up to a good enough standard to upgrade it because he was such a great slasher. I wanted to really max out the slashing capabilities on this build. So this build will be very much a two-way sort of playmaking slasher at power forward, but be really stacked in the slashing department. So to start off with, we're going to push close shot to 85. I just like 85 for bigs, just because you get that gold fast twitch. I don't see much point in putting it any higher. Because to get gold fast twitch, you do need a 96 close shot, which is I think is too high to waste points by putting it up that much. And in terms of the driving layup, he was a superb slasher. We're going to push that to 88 to get those long athlete layup packages. And then for driving dunk, we are going to get the elite contact dunks with this build. So we're going to push the driving dunk to 93. Because we all know he's had some of the biggest dunks in NBA history. I love Shawn Kemp. I love using him on the game. Just his athleticism, both in real life and on the game, is just really fun to watch and use. In terms of the standing dunk, we're also going to get the elite big man contact dunks with this build with the 90 standing dunk. That'll get you the gold rise up as well. So you will have all the contact dunks available at 6'10". You'll have both the pro and elite driving dunk contact dunks and both the pro and elite big man contact dunks to go with all the alley-oop contact dunks as well. So you'll have everything available to you. In terms of post control, he was a good post player, so I'm going to give him the gold post moves at 80 post control. So pretty much everything in his slashing category is gold except for bully. But everything else is gold with some Hall of Fame scattered throughout. So you will be an elite slasher at power forward. Now for shooting, like I said, I couldn't upgrade shooting to a good enough level I felt to be usable, so I didn't bother with it. The only thing I've upgraded is free throw to a 70, because you are a slasher. I think 70 is the lowest you can go while still being consistent from the free throw line. Free throws are a little difficult, or I found them a little difficult to time. It might just be because of my latency that I play on here and there, but I feel like 70 is okay. He did shoot about 74% in real life, so for his career, so I think 70 is quite realistic. Now for playmaking, we're just going to push pass accuracy to a 76, just because I like doing this for all bigs. One, it gives you the LeBron passing style, but really we're doing 76 to get that gold break starter, because I think that's just such an important badge to have for big men, to make sure those outlet passes are really great, on the spot, so your teammate can just run onto it and run straight to the rim instead of having to slow down and catch it. In terms of ball handle, he could actually handle the rock a little bit. He's sort of one of those stretch power forwards, not in terms of shooting, but being able to put it on the floor that we see more of now. We think now of, Anthony Davis, Zion, those really athletic players being able to, start their attack from the perimeter. Shawn Kemp was very much the same. And in saying that, we're going to push speed with ball to a 70 as well. So you will be pretty capable of putting the ball on the floor at 6'10". With the 80 ball handle, you'll get pretty much all the animations that you can get at 6'10". So you should have no trouble finding things that work for you, that really open up the lanes for you and gives you gaps to hit through the defense. Now in terms of defense, the Seattle Supersonics were a very good defensive team, and it was he definitely contributed defensively, definitely. Gary Payton was Defensive Player of the Year and all that, but Shawn Kemp was a very good defender, averaging, 1.5 steals and blocks per game pretty much throughout his Seattle days. So, very good defender. So we're going to push interior defense up to an 82. So we're going to push this to an 82. It's not too bad. At 82, you will get the 6 badge points. Now, for the perimeter defense, we're going to push that to a 44. That just gets upgraded. Would have liked this to be higher, but I didn't see a need per se to put it any higher. Now, in terms of steal, we are going to push that to a 78 because, like I said, he did average a lot of steals per game for a big, and it just gives you the silver interceptor, which is in tier 1, which is okay. You'll still get a lot of those backdoor passes that you can chop off with the silver interceptor, so you still will get a good chunk of steals. Now, in terms of block, he did average over 2 blocks a game once in his career, and he was pretty consistently a 1.5 blocks per game player during his years where he started and got a lot of minutes. So I feel comfortable putting this to an 87. At 87, you just get that silver anchor, which I think is important as a big man. Probably more so to get it gold if you're a center, but as a power forward, I still think silver's going to be okay. Now, in terms of offensive rebound, now he averaged a heap of offensive rebounds compared to his rebound total. For his career, he averaged 2.9 offensive boards out of his 8.4 per game, which, is over a third of his rebounds coming from offensive boards, which is quite incredible. I don't see that too often. I do a lot of these builds, particularly for bigs, and I don't see a ratio that high very often. So, I'm very excited to put offensive rebound really high, and we're going to put that to a 94. So this will be a primary method of rebounding. So at the 94, we get the gold rebound chaser and then also the Hall of Fame box out. Now, in terms of defensive rebound, we're just going to push that to an 87 because he did average a lot of rebounds for his career. During his Seattle years, he averaged about 9.6 per game, and during his All-Star years, he was averaging over 10 pretty comfortably. So you have the 25 defensive badges there. In terms of the physicals, he was quite quick, but unfortunately I just couldn't bump these up too much because I wanted the other stats how they were. So I had to sacrifice a bit of speed, but that's not so bad. 73 speed to go with the 75 acceleration, which is the max. Now just make sure strength is 57. In terms of the vert, we do need the 82 vert for the contact dunks, and the rest will go on stamina for 91 stamina, and that's the build. So in total you have the 26 finishing, 0 shooting, 17 playmaking, and 25 defensive badge points for a total of 78 badges on this build. So this is a really two-way slashing playmaker type of build, not necessarily an assist man, but more of a two-way slashing shot creator type of player. Just being able to use that ball handle, really high ball handle for a 6'10 player, to weave your way through, open up the lanes with your dribble and just attack. You've got all the contact dunks, you've got the best layout packages in the game, really high close shot, got gold post moves. You will be a dominant force in the paint as a power forward, particularly at power forward, because if you play 5v5 in the rec center on Pro-Am, a lot of power forwards may not be 6'10". They might drop them an inch or two. Very rarely do you see 7-foot power forwards. Generally they're a bit shorter, so you can really use your height to your advantage, but this should be a fun build to use. In terms of take, I just chose finishing moves because he's a slasher at heart, and stuff blocks because he's had some pretty massive blocks and his athleticism went through the charts, so he had a lot of good blocks. And as you can see, you've got shades of Alvin Hayes, Evan Mobley, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, all those players were really athletic. Evan Mobley, sneaky athletic. You've also made a glass cleaning finisher, and we'll take a look at the badges. So, you've got 26 shooting badge points to use in finishing. So what I would recommend is just start off with the core ones, fearless finisher, limitless takeoff. As a big, slithery finishes in, tier 1, which is great. But we'll get back to that. First off, we're just going to core posterizer, put rise up on gold, and fast switch on gold as well. So all your tier 3 badges you can max out, and then from here, it really depends what you want. If you want to be a post player, you can add some more points in to get the post badges up. You can put slithery on silver to help with your slashing. Really depends. You can make 2 loadouts. You could make a slashing loadout and then make a post up loadout. You can put back down punisher on gold, drop stepper on gold, and then fill out the others here and there to what you want. But you've got the 26 points here to play with, so you can make a very good slasher. In terms of shooting, I always say with my slashing builds, if you get an extra badge point in shooting, I do recommend thinking about slippery off ball. It is just really handy to have running around the court. Now for playmaking, you're generally just looking at things to help you attack the rim. Don't really worry about the passing badges. What you really want is, the clamp breaker, handles for days just to help with a bit of stamina. You know, killer combos on silver could be great just to help tighten up that handle. Brake starter, of course, you definitely want that, and that's your 10 there. From here, you could use your core on Unpluckable in tier 3. The others I wouldn't worry about too much. Maybe the only one I would think about is Needle Threader, possibly, if you're worried about those outlet passes getting stolen, but brake starter generally is good enough that you shouldn't have to worry about Needle Threader. I play as a center, and I don't have Needle Threader on, I just have brake starter gold, and I rarely get intercepted. You just got to make the right pass, really. In terms of, you know, other badges, you know, quick first step, of course, would be great. Bailout's there if you want that. That might be a good one to have just in case you go for a dunk you don't quite get the animation. You can pass out of it if you know that you're probably not going to make that shot. So that could be a really great layout for a slasher. In terms of defense, you know, you just want things that help you just be really awesome on defense, I think, because that's sort of what Kemp was. He's just really athletic, awesome defender, gets those blocks, crazy blocks, you know, really athletic. So, you know, chase down artist could definitely be one. You know, interceptor, box out beast, of course, could go to Hall of Fame. And there's your 11 there. What you can do here, you can call rebound chaser, put on pogo stick gold. You know, anchor can go on silver, and you've got, you know, pretty much most of your tier 3 badges at max. You can put brick wall on, you can think about that if you like, but I don't think that's quite necessary. And with the extra badge point left over, you could upgrade chase down artist, maybe put on post lockdown just for the badge, pick dodger, but that could be a really great athletic defensive layout. All in all, that's the build. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a really great day.